friends, you might know Kelly Yang as the #1 New York Times bestselling author for books for young readers, including New From Here and Finally Seen. Her latest is Top Story, the 5th book in the Front Desk series, whose titular book won the 2019 Asian Pacific American Award for Literature and was chosen as a Best Book of the Year by multiple organizations. And guess what? Kelly joins us now to talk more about Top Story. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. So I love the idea of this particular story, especially because it involves journalism. But for folks who might not know, can you tell us a little bit more about the plot of Top Story?
Yeah, so the Front Desk series follows this girl, Tang. She is a 10-year-old immigrant from China, and she and her family run a motel in California. In Top Story, she's also a writer. So in Top Story, she gets the opportunity to go to a journalism camp in San Francisco, and she's investigating all the stories, especially in Chinatown. And it's just a really fun read that celebrates history, but also teaches kids that they can problem solve. And that's kind of what I did as a kid.
Yeah, I love that. And like Mia in Top Story, you also grew up with parents who worked in motels after immigrating from China. And I think you yourself did as well. Can you tell us how your childhood experiences kind of helped you create the character of Tang?
Absolutely. My parents and I worked in 3 different motels. I think I was 8 years old when I first started. Wow. It was really hard. The adults didn't want to take me seriously. They were always telling me to go and find my mom. And I wanted them to treat me like a manager. I wanted to be a boss. So I had to, put on my customer service hat and just deal with things and solve things and figure things out for myself. And that's very much what Mia does. She's a lot like that. She doesn't just wait around for things to happen. She's really proactive, trying to find solutions. She perseveres time and time again. There's a lot of hiccups that happen along her way, especially as you make your way through the series, whether it's the cable's down or she needs to track down a customer or she needs to track down a story. But she always gets back on her feet. And I think that's a really important message for kids and a great life skill.
Yeah, I love that. And then can you explain is it challenging or is it easy to write from the perspective of a 10-year-old girl? Obviously, you have the perspective of finding yourself in this character because it's kind of based on you in a way, but how do you get yourself back into that perspective of being 10 years old?
That's a great question. It's hard, but for me, I loved 5th grade. That was my favorite grade growing up. I had an amazing teacher. I had a first crush. So I just always remember that year being really special. And so for me, I can just kind of snap my fingers and just somehow get back in that mindset and that zone of being a 5th grader, basically. And my kids are always making fun of me. He's like, Mom, you're basically 12. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's funny. Now, something that people may not know about you, you attended college at the age of 13 and Harvard Law School at 17. Now, clearly, obviously, you're very gifted, but you still had a lot to navigate kind of as an immigrant. So what advice do you have for other newcomers to this country about how to navigate a new culture, but still honor your own history?
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is to be proud of who you are and where you come from. Don't be in such a rush to assimilate that you just kind of gloss over the parts of you that are unique. I think the uniqueness of this country is that, we're all sort of bring something to the table. We're all different, and that it's a beautiful thing. And it took me a long time to get to that point, to really appreciate that and understand it. And part because I didn't have books like Front Desk growing up. So I never really saw myself in books and never really had myself represented. But now I know that, we can have representation, and I'm really hopeful that now that we have books like this and movies, the next generation can be really proud of all the aspects of themselves.
I love those messages from your books. And where can people find Top Story? Is it out right now?
Yes, it's out. It came out yesterday, the day before yesterday, and you can get it wherever books are sold.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Kelly Yang, thank you.